All right, Tiger fans, Big Cat Weekend is in full effect. We've got the first commitment from this huge event for Auburn football. Let's talk about who that is and what it means for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. War Eagle, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Kyle here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. As you're watching or listening today about this particular topic, be sure to drop a comment down below. We'd love to hear your opinions as we're sharing ours. We want to take a second to remind you of our friends at Alumni Hall. As an affiliate of theirs, we are a huge proponent and know how good they are at getting you geared up for game day and to celebrate Big Cat Weekend. So make sure that you visit them either in store or online. You can use the link in our description, that very first link, to check them out and see how they can help you get ready for Auburn football game days. I know that y'all are super excited about this because it's the first one of Big Cat Weekend and really only a few short days since the last commitment with DeMarcus Reddick deciding to rip the hearts out of Georgia and Alabama fans alike. Check that video out if you haven't. So who is this guy, the first one of Big Cat Weekend? Malcolm Simmons, wide receiver, a somewhat local kid, decided to commit to the Auburn 2024 class, making him the first of this big event. It is also the 8th so far in the summer that has committed to the Auburn Tigers and would be the first offensive one since Bryce Kane committed back in June. As always, let's talk about the timeline of events that brought us to the point of his commitment today. It starts back in the fall of 2022 when he started taking official visits, took one to Auburn, and until recently just received an offer from Auburn as his interest from other programs started to grow. Some of those would be UCF, Arkansas, West Virginia, and it was only going to get more increasing in terms of interest from others. Which is why Auburn jumped onto the board, making him an offer. And after this huge weekend at Big Cat, obviously he felt the love and committed to the Auburn Tigers. Now that you know how he got here, let's talk about the commit that is Malcolm Simmons. He's from Alexander City, Alabama, and plays for Benjamin Russell High School, where he's considered a 3 to a 4-star athlete / wide receiver. His measurables are listed at about 6 foot, 165 to 170 pounds. Now, he's considered a very fast, high athletic ability wide receiver. He has really great jumping skills, which is going to make him a very dynamic part of a Hugh Freeze offense. Now, let's back up those facts with a few stats about Malcolm Simmons. As we've mentioned, such a great athlete, has track and field experience at high school where he's competed in sprints, jumping events, and even on the football team has also played a little running back and has done very well there too. But let's look at his wide receiver stats overall. As his career as high school has progressed, 21 total games, 57 total receptions, 1,257 total yards, an average of 22.1 per game, and also a 93-yard catch in his career is what his longest has been, which results in about 14 total touchdowns that he's had thus far, and they've been tracking him. And a few storylines around this commitment. Obviously, we've mentioned it once. I'm going to say it again. The first commitment of Big Cat Weekend has us all super excited and making this more and more anticipated each year now with how well this is just starting under Hugh Freeze. Also, I think this is a diamond in the rough type of situation for Hugh Freeze. Not a lot of interest from big programs early on, or until recently at least, and Auburn was thankfully wise enough to jump on board and grab this guy. So I think he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder when he arrives on campus. Now that you know about the player, let's talk about what it means for Auburn football and its 2024 class. This commitment now brings it to 13 total commits in the class, all at the high school ranks. It is also the 5th, only the 5th on the offensive side of the ball, and the 2nd wide receiver in this class. Let's take a look at what his playing opportunities might be when he arrives on campus. Always remember that these guys might redshirt when they first arrive, or at least play on special teams. This guy is a pretty good athlete too, so I could see them doing that at the very least. But when we look at the depth chart to see who will be here still when he arrives, as a reminder, you'll have about 4 guys leaving from the wide receiver core. At least that's what we anticipate. That remains guys like Malcolm Johnson, Coy Moore, Camden Brown, Jay Fair, Amari Kelly, even newcomer Caleb Burton, and of course, anybody else that has committed at wide receiver in this class and signs. So you can see it's not an overly crowded field at the wide receiver core, but there's still plenty of competition there that he'll have to battle to earn playing time from. So it may be a season before we actually see him out there with significant time. I always like to mention where these commits come from in terms of creating recruiting pipelines. Another one from the state of Alabama. This is the 9th one in this class thus far. and right outside the backyard of Auburn in and of itself. When you talk about just him taking care of the state, that being Hugh Freeze, but also the surrounding areas around Auburn itself, it's been very impressive to watch Hugh Freeze pull this off. And finally, let's talk about what this commitment means for the 2024 class's future, but also more specifically at the wide receiver position. And we're going to break it down this way. Approximately on the roster at this point is about 17 wide receivers. About 10 of those, in my estimation, are going to be the ones that see playing time. It breaks down further to 4 seniors, 2 juniors, 3 sophomores, 1 freshman, and let's reminder here of who's already in this class. Bryce Kane is your other wide receiver at this point. So if you just look at who's vacating from seniors wise, you haven't filled all those spots yet, so you can anticipate much more and probably a big one coming soon. So there you have it, my thoughts on your brand new commitment at wide receiver, Malcolm Simmons. Would love to know your thoughts about him down in the comments section below. Be sure to do that to be part of that subscriber giveaway that ends at 4,000 subscribers, and you need to be subscribed to be part of that, so make sure you take care of that. As always, check out those links in the description for ways that you can help support Alumni Hall and us here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. War Eagle.